Traders from around the world, what's going on? It's your boy Ricky Cadden back again with another free Friday stock review just for you from Real Life Trading Australia. Hope you guys are doing absolutely sensationally splendid. Now, we are looking a little bit bearish in the markets. If you have been watching my stock reviews for the last few weeks, possibly since about back here this day, I did mention are we going to be topping out here, and there was a big reason why. I will actually make a special video in explaining what I was looking at, but for now guys, let's just take a look at the broader markets and see what is going on. Now the SPY, I did mention back on this day right here, this sensational hammer candle in the trading room, I did mention, guys, we are most likely going to trade higher and then roll back down. As you can see here, this is pretty much exactly what we did. If you take a look at the E-minis, we are currently sitting at a support level right here. This 3800 level is a very key level. I do think we can break it. I know we have a lot of volume here right now as we speak. If we take a look at the 15 minutes, obviously there's not a whole lot of volume coming in on the futures right now, but we are looking fairly weak as we speak. So the E-minis right now, I still do think we do go a little bit lower. If we can break this 3800 level, guys, expect us to come back all the way back down to the 3700 level, which is almost the 100 simple moving average. This would actually be about close to an 8% pullback. I did mention we would have about a 5 to 10% pullback in the broader markets, and we are currently having that right now. So if you guys did close out some positions, take some profits, maybe you even shorted the market, then well done to you guys. But let's take a look at Apple. Now Apple is coming down to a really nice dip buying location. I did mention that this could very well potentially come back down to the 200 simple moving average. I've said this quite a few times before. If we do come back down to the 200 simple, that's going to be about a 22% pullback, and we are also going to line up with a little bit of support down here at 110. So very exciting stuff for Apple. We have been going sideways since August last year, so we have been consolidating within a range, but look to buy low, sell high, guys. On the weekly chart, you can see on the shorter term moving averages, that does also coincide with the 50 EMA if we do get there. So I mean, we've bounced off this level before back in COVID. You guys can see what happened. We had a little bit more of a consolidation this time for the last 6 months or so, whereas back here when we had this dip, we just pretty much rallied off to the races. So very exciting stuff for Apple. I do think we eventually do go higher. Look to buy the dip on Apple. Here's IPO Bumble, the old dating app. Now, Bumble is actually a profitable company, believe it or not. Now, they are currently consolidating as we speak. We are not getting that great volume right now for us to start going long just yet. We have broken this previous level of support. So this support now does become a resistance. So first break, here's the retest, and then we're most likely going to have a roll over. So I am going to keep an eye on Bumble for you guys, but very exciting news about Bumble being IPO'd on the stock market. But look to buy the dip. They are a profitable company, so I think eventually they will go higher. It's just more so trying to find the right level to start to scale in. Now here's the ASX 200. I did mention we'd probably come back down to the 50 EMA, and here we are back at the 50 EMA. Obviously a bit of a sell-off last night in the broader markets did affect the ASX as well. Now we did get a really nice long lower shadow that came almost close down to 61.90, which was a previous level of support, and you can see here we are starting to bounce. I don't think this is the exact bottom, guys. Will be very interesting to see what happens next week, but all in all, this pullback was definitely expected. You guys have been watching all my reviews. You would have most likely seen that as well. Let's take a look at APT. Now APT, if you take a look at the long-term moving averages, we are coming down to the 100 simple moving average. Now we haven't been here for a while. I did mention that as soon as we broke out, we're probably going to stay here for a little bit, probably a few months at the most. But it'll be really nice to cash this off the 200 simple moving average if it does occur. A nice pullback down to 95 would be absolutely phenomenal. This would also line up with the 200 simple moving average. But right now it is a retest gap, which is a black candle gapping down, and we did just have earnings. So expect the retest and then possibly even a rollover. Sensational volume as earnings normally does show us as well. Wait for the volume to kind of trickle down and then have a bit of a spike in volume, and then we'll probably look to take this thing long. But just know that this is going to be a longer term play, because this is the first pullback after such a massive rally during COVID. Over 1,700% gain. Wow. Here's another buy now, pay later stock, Sezzle. Now, Sezzle did have a support level here at 855. We are getting some phenomenal volume coming in today. It was a retest gap, and we are currently retesting this particular support level based off previous levels of resistance. So if we do hold, that would be fantastic. However, if we pull back down to the 100 or even the 200, would be even better buying location for Sezzle. But right now we are in a bullish trend. Look to buy the dip. All looks good on Sezzle. Here's crude oil. Now, crude oil, I did mention, will most likely go higher and possibly come up to our 64.56. We haven't yet reached that. The volume is actually looking still quite good. Possibly have a small short-term retest before we go higher. But then, obviously, at around 64.50, I'll be looking to sell. Here's gold. Now, gold, I did mention, is going to pull back. I mentioned back here we're most likely going to pull back. So here we are pulling back down to this particular support level that I was mentioning. And right now, obviously, we probably want to look to buy the dip. Yeah, we are still currently in a downtrend. So the volume's still dropping off. Still waiting for gold to turn around. However, it is taking its time just a little bit longer. But that's okay. Eventually, we will slowly start to bounce. Take a look at the Aussie dollar, guys. I did mention this 80-cent level. Now, if you take a look at the 15-minute, we really weren't there for very long. If this was where you were looking at selling, I did mention this is where you want to take profits and or sell. So if you did short the Aussie dollar there, if you are a forex trader, then absolutely phenomenal play. You would be up humongous on this particular trade on the Aussie dollar. But right now we are currently pulling back. Take a look at the daily chart. Expect a nice little pullback down to around 77.41, and then from there probably just look to a range in between these two levels. And if you take a look at the VIX, guys, the VIX I did mention, remember back here I did mention we're going to take about 2 weeks before we start to go bullish, or slash the market starts to go bearish. And here you can see here it's about 10 candles, roughly 2 weeks from that day we are starting to rise. So a bit of volatility in the markets, great time to sell options. Not so much for buying options, but we are getting some phenomenal dip buying long-term locations. So keep your eyes peeled for these sensational dip buys, and look to stay long in the future. Alright guys, I'll be back next week. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you would like me to review any stock codes or stock tickers or any forex symbols, leave it in the comment section below. I will review them for you next week. But until next time, have a great weekend, and until then, love life, live life, and trade it. Bye.